Hey guys, today we want to talk about how to take your walking bass lines from beginner to badass. We'll see you inside the video. Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar and welcome to another collaboration video with fantastic Jasmos. How you doing?
I'm good, James. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So as you guys probably know, over at eBassGuitar, we focus on beginner to intermediate bass players and helping them become the best bass players of their life. Jazz focuses on helping intermediate bass players become advanced. So what we thought would be super cool today is to take some really common walking bass line chord sequences and show you how to take them from beginner to badass and the tricks and the tactics that you can use to make incredible sounding walking bass lines. So Jazz, what are we going to do today?
So today we're going to take two chord progressions, and James has written a walking bass line out, I've written out, and if you want it written out for yourself with tab and standard notation, just click the link below and we'll send it over to you for free.
So Jazz, what's the first chord progression we're going to be looking at?
So the first chord progression is a 2-5-1.
So talk us through how that works.
So we're going to be in the key of F major. So the 2 chord is a G minor, then the 5 chord is a C7, and then the 1 chord is an F major.
And this is a really common chord progression in jazz music. So it makes perfect sense to start there.
So what beginner walking bass line have you written out for us, James?
So what I've done is I've created a walking bass line which is based on triads and arpeggios. So what we're going to do of the G minor 7 chord is we're going to play root, flat third, 5th, back to flat third like that. So that is G, B flat, D, B flat. Then we're going to take the same pattern and put that over the C chord, which is going to be C, E, G, E, root third, 5th, third. And then we're going to go up and then down as F major 7 arpeggio, which sounds like this. So let me put the whole of that walking bass line together with you slowly. So let's play that with the backing track now so you can hear that in context. So Jazz, I'm really curious, how would you develop that bass line?
Well, I actually developed this bass line and I stole something from another bass player. So I think you'll agree, right, James? Transcription is a big part of developing and becoming better at playing walking bass lines, right?
So who was the bass player you stole it from?
It was the one and only Ray Brown I stole it
Who
from.
else? Go on, this is going to be incredible. Show us the bass line.
So the bass line is using quite a lot of open strings. So for the first bar, we have an open G, E, F, D. And then there's an alternative root on the C7, so G, which is the 5th, and then F, E, G. And then on the F chord, we play the F, major 7th, F, E, and then here, he's putting an A half diminished and a D7, taking us back to the 2 chord. So he's doing a 2-5 back to the 2 chord. So there we're going E flat over the A half diminished, A, which is the root, and then F sharp, which is the 3rd of D7, and then D, and then back to the G.
Brilliant. Play us that bass line all the way through. It sounds incredible. Go on.
All right, I'll do it slowly. So.
Fantastic. Let's hear it with the backing track.
All right.
Wow, you can really see where this stuff is going. So what is the second chord sequence we're going to be looking at, Jazz?
So the second chord sequence is we've taken the first 8 bars of the famous jazz standard Autumn Leaves.
So let's talk through the chord sequence of that. What is it?
So we start on a C minor, going to an F7, to a B flat major, E flat major, A half diminished, or A minor flat 5, D7, back to the G minor.
So this is a really common chord sequence which uses the cycle of fourths. So let me talk through the bass line that I've put together here. Here I'm using a very common device called chromatic scales. And this uses a very common formula, shall we say, to ascend through it, which is effectively a whole step and then 2 half steps. So let me talk through this. So the first bar is C minor. It's going to be a C, D, E flat, E natural. And that lands us on the F chord next, which is an F, G, A flat, A natural. Same formula again. Now, at this point, we are going to descend. So what we're going to do is we are going to go down directly an B flat major scale. So, and then that will land us on the E flat, directly down the E flat scale. Then we're going to ascend through the A minor 7 or A half diminished chord like so. We're going to use an open A and then to a B flat, and then we're going to go to a C and then a C sharp / D flat, and then that is going to take us into the D, which we're going to use the same formula as before. So whole, 2 half steps, and then we are at the G minor 6 chord or G minor 7, and we're going to go directly down G minor scale here even. And then to turn it back round again, we're going to play the low G on bar 8 and then ascend up using that initial formula again. So slowly, that bass line sounds like this.
Cool, let's hear how that sounds with the backing track.
So Jazz, I'm really curious, how are you going to develop that? Give us the overview, don't blind us with rocket science, but show us where this can go.
So once you've got down the chord tones, the scales, the chromatic passing notes, the next stage is really thinking about melody and taking ideas and trying to put the ideas through the changes. So I'm going to take a pattern or a sequence of notes and take them through the changes or the chords of Autumn Leaves.
So Jazz, show us the pattern that we're going to be using.
So what I've done is I've taken 2 patterns. So the first one, starting on C minor, is right. So that's the first idea, and then I repeat that idea. So on the B flat major, and then I take a slightly different pattern, and then on the D7, and then on the G minor, and that's the second pattern.
So Jazz, could you just give us an overview of one of those patterns which is in that line?
Yeah, so the first one, essentially what I'm doing is I'm breaking up the scale into thirds. So I'm going down a third, and then down a third. Right, so that's thirds there. And then I'm going up the scale, and then dropping. And then I take that idea and those intervals, but I try and apply them to the next couple of chords. So third, those all thirds, and then up the scale, and then drop again.
And I can hear you using a really cool device called alternate roots. And that's really simply where you play another chord tone from the chord on beat 1 or the strong beat of the bar to give another flavour to the sound, isn't it?
And the reason why the alternative roots work is because the idea is very strong. The sequence of notes is strong. So I always say melody will beat theory. So if you have a really strong idea, you can take it through the chord sequence and try and weave in the theory.
So Jazz, let's hear what this sounds like in action.
Let's do it.
Jazz, thanks for another incredible collaboration video.
Thank you, James, for having me.
So guys, if you want to improve your walking bass lines and your bass playing in general, head over to eBassGuitar.com. Check out the Bass Lab Plus. There's a full step-by-step program there. There's more information if you click the links in the description below. Cheers, I've been James from eBassGuitar.com, and we will catch you guys next time.